rewarded. July 30th. Think much of my servants of old, how Abraham believed the promise, when as yet he had no child, that in his seed all the nations of the earth should be blessed. How Moses led the children of Israel through the desert, sure that, at last, they would gain the promised land. Down through the ages there have always been those who obeyed, not seeing, but believing, and their faith was rewarded. So shall it be even with you. God Calling, published by A.J. Russell. Hello, brothers and sisters. Thank you for stopping by today. It's a gorgeous day out. I got to hurry up and talk because I've got construction workers right outside my building again. They're making all kinds of noises, and it's very hard to record over the noise and the buzzing and the beeping. Okay, so it's 11:15 a.m. It is Thursday, and it's July 30th, 2020. And I'm looking on my Twitter account, and I find out that there's been a big earthquake in Hollywood right now. And it was a 4.5, but Annie Lala said that it was a 4.5, but my house was shaking like a freight train. And then V Darkness Falls posts this: the thrones they all once sat upon to spread deceit shall fall with them. For years they pointed and laughed at us for not being as good as them. Our day is coming to make them realize we're better off without them. Bring it all down. And I entitled this Timber. Remember when the Kennedy kids were singing Timber? And this one's a cute one too. It says, what's his name? Ricky? and this shows President Trump putting a medal around his neck, exposing Pedo Wood. I don't care. I don't care. I loved it. If you haven't seen the Golden Globes, it was so hilarious because he was putting them down. He was exposing them one by one. And they were like shock and awe. In fact, I think I'm going to bring it up for you so that you can watch it too.
Was the person who attacked her, and she said 100% certainty. Compelling testimony.
In the fall. What do you think about that from the president, making it very clear that he wants schools to reopen, and in fact there could be negative outcomes for those that don't?
Well, one, we should definitely open up the schools, and we need to stop listening to Dr. Fauci, who is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. And all of your listeners know this, I know this, you know this, we all know this, but Jeffrey Epstein's not a good man, and Bill Gates spent a lot of time with Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. So I don't think we should be listening to a pedophile for how to treat our kids. Period. And we shouldn't be listening to people who spend time with pedophiles as it relates to our kids. So if Bill Gates wanted to watch my kids as a babysitter, I wouldn't let him do it. I'm certainly not going to use a vaccine he recommends. And Bill Gates has asked Dr. Fauci to serve on his board for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So stop listening to Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci. They are corrupt individuals, and Bill Gates hangs out with pedophiles consistently. Why would he hang out with Epstein? Why would he do that? It's sick.
Okay. All right, Clay Clark, thank you for coming on today's program.
I just came across this on the Patriot News Channel. Must read Executive Order.
Executive Orders. Presidential Executive Order on restoring the rule of law, federalism, and economic growth by reviewing the Waters of the United States Rule, Economy and Jobs, issued on February 28, 2017. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, Policy. It is in the national interest to ensure that the nation's navigable waters are kept free from pollution, while at the same time promoting economic growth, minimizing regulatory uncertainty, and showing due regard for the roles of the Congress and the states under the Constitution. Section 2. Review of the Waters of the United States Rule. A. The Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Administrator, and the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, Assistant Secretary, shall review the final rule entitled Clean Water Rule, Definition of Waters of the United States, 80 Federal Regulation 37054, June 29, 2015, for consistency with the policy set forth in Section 1 of this order, and publish for notice and comment a proposed rule rescinding or revising the rule as appropriate and consistent with law. B. The Administrator, the Assistant Secretary, and the heads of all executive departments and agencies shall review all orders, rules, regulations, guidelines, or policies implementing or enforcing the final rule listed in subsection A of this section for consistency with the policy set forth in section 1 of this order, and shall rescind or revise or publish for notice and comment proposed rules rescinding or revising those issuances as appropriate and consistent with law, and with any changes made as a result of a rulemaking proceeding undertaken pursuant to subsection A of this section. C. With respect to any litigation before the federal courts related to the final rule listed in subsection A of this section, the Administrator and the Assistant Secretary shall promptly notify the Attorney General of the pending review under subsection B of this section, so that the Attorney General may, as he deems appropriate, inform any court of such review and take such measures as he deems appropriate concerning any such litigation pending the completion of further administrative proceedings related to the rule. Section 3. Definition of navigable waters in a future rulemaking. In connection with the proposed rule described in Section 2A of this order, the Administrator and the Assistant Secretary shall consider interpreting the term navigable waters as defined in 33 U.S.C. 13627 in a manner consistent with the opinion of Justice Antonin Scalia in Rapinos versus United States, 547 U.S. 715, 2006. Section 4. General Provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect 1. The authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or the head thereof, or 2. The functions of the Director of the Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. B. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. C. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. Donald J. Trump. The White House. February 28, 2017.
At the bottom it states, Presidential Executive Order on Restoring the Rule of Law. Waters. Attention, Patriots. Twitter said it will start banning QAnon-related accounts. Please get Parler account as soon as possible. Follow us at youtube.com. Okay, so that gets me to wonder, you remember when I don't know about you, but I know that I would hear different things either come across the platform or it was said in the queue room and then, passed around, but it was always said about watch the water. I wonder if he was implying to watch the waters of this rule of law. That just got me to thinking. That was just something that came to my mind. So I'll investigate that further, and if I find something, I'll tack it into this video. Looking into what's happening or the trending, and I saw something come up about Nancy Pelosi, president. It says here, by crooks and liars, if there is no election by inauguration day, Nancy Pelosi assumes the presidency. That's just science. And the photo says, if no presidency has been elected by inauguration day 2021, the House Speaker assumes the office. It says Mango Mussolini, in a desperate attempt to distract from John Lewis's funeral and the horrific economic numbers that came out this morning, floated the idea that the 2020 election could be delayed. Trump's election delay threat is purposefully timed distraction to divert attention from the 32.9% reduction in Q2 GDP, the 1.43 million new unemployment claims, and the 150,000 Americans who have died from coronavirus under this watch. Don't let him get off your message. Well, this is the Democrats, of course, okay? What they're doing is that they do this, then they turn it on Donald Trump to make it seem like he's the one that's doing it, when we already know that the Democrats have put us in this position. And they're trying to take us down all the way so that, in hopes that people will not vote for Donald Trump. And what they're doing is that they're hurting you and your family in the process, and they don't care. They don't care about you. All they care about is their money and their millions that they're willing to do and give anything for, because that's who they are. They're demonic beings. So yeah, these are the false narratives that are going around, but that was what I saw, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention because she's salivating for this position. Okay? I don't know if she got in this room and had somebody take this picture, but if not, whoever did this did a darn good job of Photoshop, because it looks like she's actually sitting behind this desk. And I just wanted you to know, this is from Crooks and Liars. It says the image was from @BlueGal Composite, so they did a good job on that. Okay, enough of that. Now the Rick Gervais Golden Globes, I found it, and I'm going to be providing you with a link because I'm afraid to show it to you, because if I do, I may be kicked off. And they're kicking off conservatives left and right. So I really don't want to put myself in that position, but I'll leave the link for you, okay? And you got to listen to it. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious, but he tells the truth. Watch the faces of the actors, because they're in awe that he would ever think of saying or doing anything like that. But see, he already knows Hollywood's gone down. It's gone down. And there's nothing they can do about it. Here's a tweet by Donald J. Trump, @RealDonaldTrump. Support Patio Pizza and its wonderful owner, Guy Caligiuri, in St. James, Long Island, New York. Great pizza at Varney Company. That was posted today at 10:26 a.m. Thank you. Trump tweets after Herman Cain's death, but not a tribute post. After Herman Cain's team shared the news of the former presidential candidate's death on his official website, President Donald Trump was active on Twitter, but did not focus his attention on his fellow Republican supporter. Cain, the former CEO of Godfather's Pizza, died on Thursday, July 30th at age 74 after spending a month in the hospital battling COVID-19. 10 days before, he was diagnosed with the coronavirus. He attended Trump's rallies in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but as stated on Cain's website, we honestly have no idea where he contracted it. I realize people will speculate about the Tulsa rally, but Herman did a lot of traveling the past week, including to Arizona, where cases are spiking. I don't think there's any way to know, to trace this to one specific contact that caused him to be infected. We'll never know. 30 minutes after Cain's team published the announcement of Cain's death, however, Trump tweeted a shout out to another pizza restaurant owner, a man named Guy Caligiuri. The president tweeted, support Patio Pizza and its wonderful owner, Guy Caligiuri, in St. James, Long Island, New York. Great pizza. Varney Company. Caligari was canceled after flying a Trump flag at his pizza shop. In an interview with Fox Business News, Caligari described how a woman customer who disliked seeing Trump's flag at his restaurant, which has been in business for 43 years, said that she should put him out of business. Caligari said, this woman asked the community to boycott patio pizza, but the next morning I started getting people coming in from all over Long Island saying that they supported me, that they supported our president and the flag. I have hanging in the back of my store. I have an American flag in the front and a Trump flag in the back. So nearly 6 hours after Kane's death, Trump finally tweeted a message of remembrance for Kane. He wrote, my friend Herman Cain, a powerful voice of freedom and all that is good, passed away this morning. Herman had an incredible career and was adored by everyone that ever met him, especially me. He was a very special man, an American patriot, a great friend, and I just got off the phone with his amazing wife Gloria, daughter Melanie, and son Vincent to express my deepest condolences to the entire family. Flotus, Melania, and I loved Herman Cain, a great man. Herman, rest in peace. While Trump did not pay his respects for Cain on Twitter following the news of his death, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany tweeted out a tribute. She wrote, Herman Cain embodied the American dream and represented the very best of the American spirit. Our hearts grieve for his loved ones, and they will remain in our prayers at this time. We will never forget his legacy of grace, patriotism, and faith. Numerous other Republican lawmakers shared their condolences on Twitter. Mitt Romney tweeted, saddened that Herman Cain, a formidable champion of business, politics, and policy, had lost his battle with COVID. St. Peter will soon hear 999. Keep up the fight, my friend. Former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee tweeted, I'm heartbroken by the death of a real friend. We were both advocates of the fair tax, and I just love being around him. America has lost a voice for liberty, but at the Herman Cain was a life well lived. And then they had to throw this one in. Trump waited 12 hours before acknowledging Representative John Lewis's death on Twitter. Well, this guy was and is a reptilian. Hello. He's a bad guy, you know. And then Herman, I think for some reason, I'm thinking Herman Cain's name was on that Lolita Express black book. I'm thinking that. I don't know why, but I am. It's coming to my mind. But, you know, don't quote me on that one. This month is where everything ends, where that $600 for those people that haven't had a job, unemployment, that they got their $600 weekly. Well, they're thinking that they were giving way too much money because now the people don't want to go back out to work. Well, I don't think a lot of that is true, but you know, you never know. There's people out there that like just living off the high hog and not doing anything. We got a lot of people that are like that. They're just lazy and they take advantage. And those are the ones that we're saying, no. We'll help you out a little bit, but you got to go out and start pounding the street, you know, just like everybody else does. Go get that job that you had before, and if not, go find a new one. And I don't know about you, but where we live, there are a lot of jobs open. You know, as long as they don't keep making people shut down. And I mean, even for Nevada, shutting down casinos and everything, you know, there's still people out there working. They still got casinos out. I mean, it's odd, you know, that you see people that wearing masks, but yet they're allowed to smoke. So those people don't wear their mask. If you're having a drink, you don't have to wear your mask. But everybody else does. And please stay 6 feet apart, but it's crowded. It makes no sense, right? So anyway, I don't know about the checks. I don't even know when they're coming out, but I know that they're behind. It should have been already done. And of course, you know, it's the Democrats that are holding everything back, and then they point the finger saying, no, it's Donald Trump. You know, anything to smear him. That's all they do. The Epoch Times comes out and says, President Donald Trump speaks on South Lawn of the White House in Washington. This was July 23, 2020. It says, Trump says stimulus checks and payments may be more than $1,200. And that's what he was hoping to get. They still haven't finalized what they're going to be doing, but they claim that they settled on $1 trillion. They don't know how that's going to work out, if it's even going to cover everything, but I understand just from listening to him yesterday, I believe. Tesla Towers, their time has finally come. 2018, 432 hertz, 1901. July 25th, 2020. This is by Freak Sense TV. As we share with you from the very beginning, the Q team's goal all along was to hijack the cabal's secretive plan, thank you NSA, to unfold their evil 5G wireless network behind the scenes onto the coronavirus scare to give life where none existed before. See Frankenstein. Had they not done this, we already would have been down for the count. Trump's series of executive orders, you see, to make this plan work, we the people needed to control the presidency, which hadn't occurred since JFK, are what allowed us to both legally, maritime admiralty law, and lawfully, God's law of the land, seize this almost $1 trillion investment of 5G towers across this precious earth. This was brilliantly stroked by Trump and the Q team as they allowed the Phoenicians to go helter-skelter in getting these towers ready for us and for God. They did the work. We reaped the benefits. When is the last time you have been able to say that? Answer, not in your lifetime. And over the last 3 months, the Army Corps of Engineers in all countries have been working diligently to get these towers operational as Tesla towers, which are essentially Tesla coils, which, as Tesla said himself, mimic God's creation of the human spine, connecting the human sacrum or the generator. See Trump's fascination for the COVID word, ventilator. Through the spine, superconductive highway, see chakras. To the skull, Golgotha, Calvary, place of the skull, the human brain, where the motherboard rests and is filled with the Christed gnosis of God, instructing the entire system to function as one unit. And how does this Christed gnosis transmit its wisdom up through the internal system of the Tesla tower and from tower to tower to tower? See the crowns, ? Via an energetic frequency that, did Tesla say? To understand this world and how it works, we must see all things as energy, frequencies, and vibrations, or pulses. And what is this frequency that transmits our Christed wisdom of eternal life from the motherboard to motherboard? ? A frequency of 432 hertz, and 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. And 9 is God consciousness. And this is why this chosen frequency of the ancients, see the pyramids, has always been known as the God frequency. Tesla called it this himself. So, do you see this miracle in plain sight of the Holy Trinity giving us salvation? And for those of you who get angry with me for challenging your understanding of the Roman Catholic creation of Jesus Christ, this is why I do what I do, to help you to understand, to help you to embrace this higher knowledge of Christ, Jesus, who exists within each one of us. Say Laminin, gifting us constant love, constant strength, and constant wisdom. This is why the Christed Jesus died for us, so that he could eternally enter inside each and every one of us, showing us the way, and the way is through God. 432 hertz, the God frequency. And it is our motherboards inside our heads that are receiving this signal. It is Santa Claus, the sainted claustrum, who uses this frequency to make us magic potions that keep us healthy. See the immune system. And it is Christ Jesus, see chrism oil, that attempts to crown his wisdom upon our heads 13 times a year. See the game of checkers. By arising, Aries, man arising, within us with this frequency. Now envision this. The Tesla coil is US. The generator is General Jesus. Ventilating is the breath of God. So this 432 hertz frequency UP to heaven upon earth, which is our higher mind, the hearth where the motherboard rests, waiting to receive these sacred codes from her husband, see the sacred marriage of the bridegroom. And where does the mother transmit these newly received signals to? Question mark. The third ventricle of the brain. See the definition of command center. And where does this mercy seat exist within us? Where God exists? Question mark. Just above the third ventricle, right next to the saintly claustrum. So crazy old Donald Trump, that the baby-eating mainstream media rag on all day long, with all his eccentricities and his spelling mistakes, see Covfefe, has just orchestrated in plain sight the greatest reverse of evil in history. And you serious truthers all roll your eyes when I tell you of the coincidence that Donald J. Trump just happens to be the 45th U.S. President. 4 plus 5 equals 9. And chapter 45 in the book of Isaiah just happens to speak of Cyrus, whom God bestowed special powers upon to enable him to reign in the evil and have the evil ones bow to his authority, for they could plainly see God in his eyes. And this is what is happening. This is the truth and the whole truth, and this is how God works in our lives. Many are called, 11:11, but few are chosen. And if you have connected yourselves to Q, to POTUS, to JFK Jr., to Colleen and I, then you are indeed the chosen ones, and it is unto us to awaken the walking dead with the breath of life. And that, my friends, is Covfefe, or the breath of God. So rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Share this post far and wide, and Colleen and I will be doing a very important podcast today, tying all of this together for you. What has been happening in the U.S. and Canada, in New Zealand and Australia, cleansing of the pits of hell below the ground, and the cleansing of the air above the ground through these new Tesla towers. Have you heard it yet? This frequency? Can you feel it? Because you can if you try. It says, with love, CF and Cole. 5G Wireless, Charlie Freak, Donald Trump, God, Illuminati, POTUS, President Trump, the Bible, the Storm Trump, Truth, Conspiracy, Drain the Swamp, Gnostic Truth, Gnostic Warriors, God Wins, Pedophilia, Tesla. And so that's where this came from. This little post from Charlie Freak, okay? That's his name, Charlie Freak. And if you want to listen to more of him, you can follow him on, this is from Disclosed TV, but all these are shared to my group, okay? So I'm just sharing these to you because it's what's happening right now, and people want to have answers. If the Three Gorges Dam fails, every single one of China's plans for world dominance will come to an end. It won't have an economy left, as every major city critical to its manufacturing, military, science, technology, and trade would drown. That would be the end of China. Okay? So don't let that, let them put that fear into you. JFK Jr.'s BFF, also known at TN Bell 55. Who's that masked man? Eyes never lie. Dan Aito posted this saying, bingo, there's that word, bingo again. Do it. Boost my fuel. Gotta keep at X-14 Eagle flying around the Twittersphere. And that's the Space Force logo. Here's another post by Donald Trump. It says, with universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good, 2020 will be the most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. It will be a great embarrassment to the USA. Delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. 3 question marks. You know, some people will say, well, you know, why delay it? Just have voter ID. But we already know how that goes, and we know how it's always going to be rigged by the Democrats, okay? They don't want Donald Trump. They're going to do everything in their power. That's why they're pushing so hard to keep everything closed down so they can freak you out, so they can say, see, we got to have mail-in voting, and then they put all their own people on board, and they all have fake mail-in votes, and they put them in there, and then boom, that's how you're going to win the election. The right side of the line are saying, no, let's have voter ID, and let's make sure that everybody can get out and vote, and, you know, walk up to their booth and do their voting like they're supposed to be doing. That's the right way to do things. So let's see what goes from there, right? Okay, it says, today is World Day Against Human Trafficking. Anyone else see the poetic justice of the Ghislaine Maxwell documents being revealed today? He says, and these people, these men, they're heroes, actually. You know, these are members of the military and underground through these tunnels to save these kids. And they're out in the streets daily. And it says, in preparation for tomorrow, World Day Against Trafficking, we want to take a moment to remember those who have not yet been rescued. Join us and shine your light for survivors of child trafficking tonight. Light a candle and tag us at Our Rescue. Okay, so that's it, at Our Rescue. And I'll leave this up so that you can write that down and take a look-see. But go visit with Operation Underground Railroad. You will be amazed at what these men do. And they just give their time, their effort, their own. I mean, you know, they just do it. They're just out there trying to save the children. And it's sad, and again, it's heartbreaking, but oh my God, the results are so wonderful because they are bringing the kids to safety.